So, Greggy, second practice match of the year. An interesting one today, taking on Frankston, who gave you a bit of trouble last year, and they touched up the minor premiers, from last year in Coburg, and took away a convincing win in the end.
Yeah, they came out pretty confident. They had a couple of experienced blokes, premiership players from Sandringham and their captain and bits and pieces, so they thought they'd go all right against us, but we were very good.
Considering the conditions today, an impressive win, I think we were playing about 32, 34 degree heat. How did that affect the rotations today?
Yeah, we were struggling a bit because Joshy Muirling pulled out this morning. He was a bit crook, and then Steph Denedick unfortunately tweaked his knee. So we were down to 21 at the finish, but the boys did very well and they showed their fitness as holding together, and they finished the game off very, very well.
And of course, recovery a very important part today. The boys going off down for the beach into the ice bars and obviously trying to manage it the best they can in extraordinary conditions. Yeah,
look, they're down on the beach now. I wouldn't mind being down there with them myself. I'm a bit warm. But that'll help our recovery, and we'll probably do much the same on Monday because the heat will take a lot out of them today.
Just having a look at the stats earlier, it seems Josh Purcell impressed early, getting plenty of handballs, and also Sammy O'Sullivan on the half-forward flank.
Yeah, Sam O'Sullivan's been very good. He was captain for the day, so he showed good leadership. Joshy Purcell, back to his, a bit of form that we saw him play a couple of years ago. I think injuries held him up a bit, but today he was very good.
And what do you think we improved on from last week's game after the loss against North Ballarat? What do you think turned it around this week?
I think, we hadn't played together before. I reckon, only 3 or 4 of the boys had played together. By knowing each other a little bit better. Also, I thought we trained a little bit more specifically this week on one at the ball carrier, one to cover off, locating their opponents. They were doing all those things. So all the things we've been talking about, I thought they carried out pretty well for us today.
Gary, second practice match of the year, and a bit similar to 2011, the boys starting off slow and working their way into the game. Frankston getting the early jump.
Yeah, I think, Pete, and also too, I guess you don't know how their mindset is because it is very, very hot out here today. So from that, I thought they certainly started a bit better, but we've had an interesting week with what we've had to try and do, and preparation is not exactly as fluent and as smooth as I would like it at the minute, but once we sort of got ourselves into stride, I thought overall we played the better footy for probably 3.5 quarters really.
And we talk about the Frankston ground compared to North Ballarat. It's a more slimmer ground. It's like office hallway football. There's less room. And you're talking to the boys saying that they felt that they were a bit tight at stages. They needed to relax more.
Yeah, I think so. And look, it probably sometimes the perceived pressure that you have is more often than not what you've induced yourself. It's not necessarily what the surrounds are or the opposition are. And I thought some of our players were actually doing that. And as you said, it could have been an adjustment. Last week we played on one of the biggest grounds possible, whereas we came here and it is a little bit narrow. But if you're smart, you can make your own space. And the thing that we try and do always is we absorb the pressure and then we, I guess in a way, turn that back on them. So it's about absorption, because really if we're playing as a team, I'm going to do what I need to do if I can't receive the ball by hand and foot to make it easier for you. And of course I'll shepherd and block and use my voice and be instructional, whereas I didn't think we did that a lot today. But having said that, hot conditions, no injuries I think of at the minute, and to keep them to 6 goals, and we really butchered the ball, but it's obviously what we need to do is score goals when we've got that pressure element right up, which we did. And of course in the end it was a 50-odd point win, but probably if the truth be known it could have been a 100-point win.
Yeah, interesting, 12-18 for the day.
Yeah, well look, that's a byproduct of where we train and what we do. We don't have goalposts up, and of course it's a constant battle to try and get decent facilities and a decent ground, so we're not at port at the minute. But look, we're aware of that, but certainly there's areas we need to improve. But I thought even our last kick inside 52 was not as advantageous as it should be, or as vantageous as it should be. But we gave a lot of the kids a bit more game time today. We probably at times went a bit one-dimensional to Adrian Bonadeo, so we need to tidy that up. So, but look, all the things that we're talking about are fixable by us as individuals and as coaches and as a team. So I think that's the real positive, that it's nothing that the opposition did, and we're in a practice match mode as we know, and we're really trying some things that hopefully will work later in the year.
And just quickly, you were talking at half-time about opportunities. Out of the kids, who have been putting their hand up so far and been impressing in these first two games?
I think John McKenzie has. I think Nick Papaleo has. Matty Smith was a bit better today. When you look at the two ruckmen we played in, Chris Prowse and Pat McMahon, they've played one game of senior VFL footy between them against Russ Gabriel, who's probably knocking on close to 150. So we think that we can encourage these guys to get better. The defence, Dan Noonan. Aaron Johns is another kid who's just come across to try and play senior footy. Luke Rounds is only young in terms of age. He's 22 and he's played 6 AFL games. So those guys should improve. Mitch Woods was better after half-time. And what I want to be is put under so much pressure come round one that I've actually got to tell a lot of players that they're not playing in the final make-up of the senior side. And if I've got that, I know we've had a pretty good month of preparatory footy.
Borough TV is a Port Melbourne Football Club production.